Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It's time for our weekly recap of The Shy. This is season 4, episode 6, and it was titled Candyman. All right, real quick, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell to be notified for when I drop new videos. And also, if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me along with the share button. All right, y'all. I know I'm a daily. I usually post this on Mondays, but Monday has just got away with itself, and I had an early work day. Like, I finished work early, and then I was just like relaxing and maxing. So yeah, you relax too much, you don't really feel like doing nothing, and that's what had happened. So, but I'm here today on Tuesday to give y'all this recap review. So I hope y'all still interested in it enough to get me some views and some likes. All right, y'all, let's jump into it. So we on the roof, right? Because remember last episode, Duda got shot. Child, it was freaking Brandon and Coogee mama. Was it Coogee? Corgi? Something with a C. Mama. And she the one who shot Duda. First, I was like, who is this lady? Because I remember her. She was on The Wire. She was on so many damn shows. I'm like, wait a minute. What was she on this show? But then I remember, boom, she was Brandon mama. So she shot him. And she was like, I don't care if you's the... I said, why she got to sound like a runaway slave? But she was like, if you's the president, I don't give a fuck who you are. You don't get the right to be a hero. You ruined my life. Now I'm taking yours. And then I thought, because she was like hovering over him, I thought she was fitting to shoot him in the head. No, child. She just walked away real slow. Like I said, girl, now if you was trying to kill him, you'd have shot him one good time in the head and then walked away. But no, she just shot him in the gut and then walked away. He was just laying there bleeding out. Next thing we see him in the back of the ambulance. The EMT, he holding pressure to the wound and stuff. And I'm like, they would have put something on, but whatever. Then we see Duda having flashes of when Mad Rose came upstairs on the roof. And I was surprised it wasn't Tracy, because remember, he told Tracy that he was going to meet, that he wanted her to meet him on the roof. So I'm surprised it wasn't Tracy who found them. Instead, it was Mad Rose. So Mad Rose found them, and she was like, oh my God. She was crying and stuff like that. And then I guess she called 911 and got him to the hospital or whatever. But at one point, when she was crying over him, it was like a little glimmer of some evilness. Like she was glad that he got shot, but at least wasn't dead. I was kind of like, what's going on there? But she wanted to be in administration, so that's probably why she had that little look like, he gonna be hemmed up and I can start running things. She ain't shit. At school, Gemma and Jake, child, they is just savages. Cause Kevin's sitting right behind them. They sitting side by side each other. They just flirting and all. And then Kevin is literally right behind Gemma while they doing this. I said, oh, they is savage. So Kevin see this. He throws something at Jake. Here goes Gemma picking it up. One handed back to Kevin, talking about something. Don't do that. Bitch, you lucky I hit you upside your head with something. So Kevin like, oh, so you just going to ignore me talking to Jake. So Jake was like, ain't nothing to talk about, ain't shit to talk about or whatever. So Kevin gets up in his face. Jake was like, what, nigga? So Kev pushes him. Child, they get to tussling. Well, no, Kevin got up, popped him in the face, popped Jake in the face. They get to tussling and stuff like that. Next thing, the teacher come break it up. Teacher get popped in the face by Kevin. Everybody looking like it was slow motion going around and around. I said, oh my God. Kevin looking like at this moment he realized he fucked up. That was what was going through his head. We see Papa, he talking to Maisha, and they at the restaurant or whatever, and he was telling her he was thinking about canceling the podcast or whatever because nobody is coming. He done hit up Little Rel 25 times in a DM. He done hit up all these celebrities and ain't nobody popping up on his podcast. So she was just like, first of all, that is harassment. But you did this for the people. So won't you get some regular people on your podcast and whatever? Like, why are you trying to do this for clout all of a sudden? You just was doing this to let the community speak and stuff like that. So he was like, but yeah, I want to get my name out there and stuff. So she was like, well, it'll happen, it'll come. She looking at her phone, she gets a email or a text message or something from some company, magazine company, wanted to do an interview on her. So he was like, for what? She was like, well, wait a minute, hold up. It was the way he said it. So she was like, what do you say? It was like, it was kind of shady, but it wasn't shady because he wasn't trying to be shady, but you could tell he was a little bit jealous of her because she was getting shine and he wasn't. Like, she getting an interview and he wanted to be seen, but she like kind of on the back end, not really wanting to be out there, but she getting magazine covers and all this other stuff. So he was kind of like butthurt, but he was like, oh no, you know, I'm supporting my queen and yada, yada, yada. Y'all know how Papa talk. We see Kevin, he at home, child. Nina and Dre is pissed off because this boy is suspended indefinitely. He is expelled from school. He was like, Dre was like, look, I am 2 seconds from putting my hands on you. He was like, but yo, it wasn't my fault. She was like, that's not the point. Nina, like, you know what, you want to F up your life, F up your life. So she walks away. Dre sit down and talks to him and like, look, you is about to ruin your life. You got to get it together. Like, you can't keep doing what you doing and stuff like that. And so, he like, well, I just, maybe I just want to be a kid. She was like, you don't have that luxury of being a kid. Don't waste your life out here or whatever. So then he was like, so what, am I grounded? And she was like, no, because I grounded you before and it ain't seemed to work out. So he was like, so if I want to hang out with Papa, I can go hang out with Papa. Here she go. Yeah, but don't take my kindness for weakness. I said, what kind of bullshit? No, nigga, you give me your phone, your computer. You just stay in your room. You got a TV in your room. Give me your TV. Give me your gaming system. Give me your everything. All you need is the mattress and some sheets. And at this point, you don't even need no sheets. Like, no. What is they doing? Like, look, people got a different way of parenting, child. So we see Mad Rose. She about to do the bedside and stuff like that. She worried. It looked like he was in a coma maybe, or maybe he was just asleep, but he had the oxygen mask on his face. We see Emmett, Tiff and Dom coming there to kick him out of his office because they got a business meeting coming up or whatever. So some lady comes in there and pitches them a deal for their edibles and stuff. And Tiff is ready to jump on because it's money. She said that she dreamt that she was swimming around in money and stuff like that, like Scrooge McDuck or was that Scrooge? Yeah. On DuckTales and stuff like that. So they was talking about that. But the lady, she gave them like this big pamphlet and stuff like that for them to read over, you know, probably some little fine print underneath that, and then finer print underneath that. So, but Tiff, she ain't even read the damn contract yet, so she acting like one of these people getting a new music deal or something, and they taking the first thing running. So Dom is like, no, like, I need to read this over. I need to do this. I need to do that. So Tiff like, yo, let me talk to you over here privately or whatever. So they go in the kitchen and they going back and forth. And Dom like, look, girl, I'm trying to get us more money, okay? We can't just go with the first thing. We are worth way more than what they probably offering us or whatever like that. And whatever they offering us, we probably can get double from it. So Tiff like, well, I'm trying to get some money. I'm trying to secure the bag and stuff. And you running the bag away and stuff. So they going back and forth. Emmett come out there like, look, lunch break is over. We got a crowd out there. They going back and forth. And so then Don was like, nigga, you don't write my check or some shit like that. He was like, yeah, but I hand them out. So respect my establishment. So we like, the fuck she talking to? So then he go out there, Dime storms off and goes out there, whatever. We see Mad Rose, she giving a press conference. And they asking her questions about Duda and stuff like that. And basically, to me, it sounded like she was blaming the cops for not really looking for the shooter and stuff, because the cops don't have their back and stuff, and they need to step up. And the person was like, the news reporter was like, well, what do you say about the good cops? She was like, well, they need to stand behind us, and they need to tell the other cops to step up or get ran over. And so then she walked away. I said, see, she need to just play Mad Rose, because she can't be Happy Rose, Sexy Rose. Mad Rose is more her style. So Because she walked off. I was like, okay, I believe you. We see Keisha, she back at work, and the co-worker, did they ever say his name? I don't know his name, but the one who's flirting with her and likes her and stuff like that, he asking her about her baby and what did she have and stuff, and she was like, I had a boy. He was like, what did you name him? And she was like, well, his new mom gonna name him. So he was like, oh, my bad, I didn't know, I apologize and stuff. So, he real apologetic and stuff. And then he asked her out on a date. So she was like a date? Because it was like, well, can I take you to dinner? She was like a date? He was like, yeah, whatever. And so she was like, I don't know, I'll think about it. He was like, okay, well, I'll take that. And she was like, well, okay, but I didn't say yes or whatever. He was like, yeah, but you didn't say no. She was like, but I ain't say yes. And how you know I'm going to say yes? He was like, I got faith. So I was like, oh, that's so cute. Anyway, we see Kev. He didn't went to Papa's house. So he's talking to Papa. I think Maisha was there, and she was setting up for the podcast or whatever. So the whole time she's setting up, I'm like, what is she doing? But so Kev is telling Papa, like, my best friend and was hooking up with my girl. Like, what kind of shit is that? Papa like, look, if any of y'all try to touch my girl, I'm gonna kill y'all, and I'm a man of God or whatever. So next thing we see, Jake and Gemma at the door, and Kevin looking like, well, what the hell is this shit? And so Papa was like, look, don't get upset. I think y'all need to talk and all this other stuff. And y'all need to get it out because y'all was friends and y'all need to come to terms what's going on and stuff. And Papa, he think he basically Dr. Phil or somebody trying to get everybody together, kumbaya and stuff. And I'm like, it's just some things you just don't do. So Jake was like, you don't really care about our friendship. You just trying to get ratings for your podcast. So Papa was like, I mean, why not kill two birds with one stone? So Gemma was like, well, I'm down. So then Kevin was like, only for you, Papa. So then Jake joins in and sits down or whatever like that. And so here go Papa. Yeah, I feel the spirit. I said, oh, okay. So then we see Tiff. She's over at Jada's and Emmett is there too. And they got their son there. And Jada looks bad. She's feeling bad. Cancer. And, chemo can take a lot out of a person. So she's tired and stuff. And they're just kind of talking to her. Tiffany trying to, tell them about the business and stuff. And Emmett was pretty much on Dom's side. Like, you just can't take any deal that's running or whatever like that. And so, then Jada starts talking to, Tiffany starts talking to Jada, asking her about Sway. And Jada was telling Tiff that, Sway said that he loved her and stuff. And she was like, well, did you say it back? And she was like, no, here go Emmett. Just because that nigga said he loved her don't mean she gotta say it back. And so Tiffany was like, everybody ain't as cold as you, Emmett. And so then they was talking about how he just like his daddy and stuff like that. And then Jada started coughing. So Emmett, of course, concerned. And so he go over there with some water and stuff. And they like, well, you want us to stay? She like, no, y'all can go. Y'all can leave or whatever. So she told Tiff to take, Emmett and the baby home, but Emmett wanted to stay behind. So Tiff and the baby just left and Emmett stayed behind. Jay was like, well, since you here, can you clean up? And then she went on the bed. Child. Papa's pulpit. A mess. He talking about healing wounds afflicted by the ones you love. His little theme music. He put his little theme music on, which was Maisha. She in the back, supporting her man. She put the little theme music on. And then Papa asked Jake and Gemma when their illicit affair began. So they ain't say nothing. Here go Kevin. Oh, don't be quiet now. She was like, what we did wasn't right. But you can't just keep self-medicating and think everything's going to be okay. Like, you just can't keep doing that. And so he was like, oh, you just dropping dimes and stuff. What about loyalty? And what about confidentiality and stuff? And we supposed to be boys and stuff. And so Papa was like, well, it looks like your issues was bigger than them, Kevin, or whatever. And so Gemma goes into like, well, you never had my back and I always had your back all the time and stuff. And then Kevin was like, well, I can't walk around supporting you all day. And she like, you don't care about anything. He was like, I cared about you. And she was like, well, I still love you. And he was like, you love me? But you with him though. I'd have been Kevin all the way. You love me. That's funny. I'd have been dying. Like, girl, bye. You got a funny way of showing it. So, she was like, well, I'm not the same girl that I was last year. I need more. So he was like, you need more? Like, what's that supposed to mean? So then Maisha was like, well, just because she started with you doesn't mean y'all were meant to be with each other or whatever like that. So Kevin like, that's bullshit. And then so him and Gemma get to arguing back and forth and stuff. They fussing. And then Kevin finally was just like, F this. He took the headphones off, slammed them off, and walked out. So Papa ends the podcast. Jake and Gemma end up leaving or whatever. Then Papa asked Maisha as they was cleaning up, like, well, what did you mean by just because y'all started together doesn't mean y'all was meant to be together? So she laughed like a little bit and was like, you just need to stop taking things so personally. I was like, child, I saw what happened coming. So we see Trig and Amani, they still beefing a little bit, and he like, you still mad? And she like, I just want what matters to me to matter to you too. And he was like, well, we can have differences of opinion and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I understand that, but I just need to feel like you on my side. And he was like, well, you don't think I'm on your side? She was like, well, I feel like you still thinking or caring about what other people think or whatever. So he was like, you right, I judge those girls and stuff, and, I apologize, but, I'm working on it or whatever. And so they both said they loved each other and stuff. So she was like, well, what's next? And he was like, we moved together as a unit or whatever. And then they kissed. I said, oh. Yes. Anyway, we see Duda. He is talking to Mad Rose. So they in the hospital still. And Duda tells Mad Rose that he killed Brandon. So she was like, well, did you kill him? And he says yes, because he was going to be talking to the feds and he didn't need that heat or whatever. So I said, okay, so finally they bringing up Brandon in season 4, and they killed them off in season 2 or whatever. So I'm like, they finally bringing him up and bringing up that he killed him or whatever because of what was going on, the feds and all this other stuff. So he was like, looking around. So she was like, what you looking for, Tracy? Because somebody knocked on the door. And it was for Rose or whatever. And he had some paperwork for her. And so she was like, what you looking for, Tracy? And then she just rolled her eyes and got that paperwork. So she started like signing stuff and filling out. He was like, well, what are you doing? She was like, I'm taking care of things that you can't do or whatever. And he was like, well, I'm not going to be held up in this bed forever. She was like, yeah, I know. And so she went back to doing what she was doing. And so he was like, he said something. And she was like, well, yeah, I'm sorry you got shot. And, but I got it from here or whatever. So he was just side-eyeing the hell out of her like, this bitch, did she set this shit up? Because I'm like, this just seemed real too convenient. Now, maybe Brandon mama was following Duda and saw them, went to the party and stuff like that. Because I think it was open to the public. So she went to the party, yada, yada, yada. And then followed him up on the roof, shot him. But nobody saw her. Like, nobody from the whole party saw her. And it's just odd that Mad Rose found him and not Tracy. I'm still on that. But anyway, moving forward, we see Keisha. She pumping her milk. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe she giving the milk to Octavia or whatever, because there's no need for her to pump her milk if she's not breastfeeding or giving her milk to the baby's mom, because it will just keep producing milk. Like, she needs something to suppress the milk. So I was like, she must be giving her milk to Octavia or whatever. We see her, she look in the mirror, she looking up at her belly and stuff, because she had like on a sports bra and like some shorts or whatever. So then she ends up calling her coworker. So she telling him that she down to go to dinner, and he was saying like he would cook for her, and she was like, oh, you a chef? He was like 5-star Michelin. So he was like, no, I know how to cook a mean Alfredo or something, he said. She was like, well, I still feel strange going to people's houses and stuff. He was like, well, whatever makes you feel safe, we can go to Smokey's or whatever. So she was like, okay. Then we see Emmett. He's setting up. Now, I don't know what they were setting up for. I guess it was for like a community meeting or something. I don't know, because it didn't look like they was giving food to the homeless or nothing like that. So I guess it was like something for the community or whatever. But he's setting up his food and stuff. And then he talking to Dre about Jada. And he kind of upset that Jada didn't tell him sooner. And then we see Kev in there. Dre and Kev down there. And we see Kevin go talk to Emmett, and then he like, I really don't want to be here. And Dre like, you ain't got no choice. And Emmett like, boy, you better do whatever she tell you to do for you get your ass whooped. And then we see Maisha at her photo shoot. She looked hot. Okay, she was cute. I loved it. And then we see her being interviewed by Sydney Starr. Like, it took me forever to figure out what her first name. I was like, it's something Starr, but I could not remember it. But we see her being interviewed by Sydney Starr, and she being interviewed about her rap. So I guess she been rapping and putting it up on her Instagram or whatever, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever she been putting on, it's been getting out there or whatever. So that's how she was interviewed for the magazine, and that's how she's getting the photo shoot and all that other stuff. So Maisha says she wants to graduate with honors, and her mom was like, I know that's right. And then Sydney Starr was like, well, where can we hear your raps? Child, here go Papa real quick with the, you can get it, you can hear him at Papa's pulpit. So she was like, okay, is this your man? He was like, yep, here go my card. I said, Papa was real quick with it. I said, Lord. And you could just see Maisha's face looking like, So I said, child, they is not going last. Jake and Gemma, they all in his house or whatever. In his room, I should say. And Jake saying like he just trying to live his life for him, and you know, Kevin his boy and stuff, but he trying to do what makes him happy and stuff. And she was like, well, so we shouldn't apologize? He was like, well, I mean, we should, but I ain't really worried about all that. We should just do what makes us happy and stuff. And so then they started kissing. I said, Lord. Then we see Kevin, he passing out the stuff for the community, like I had said. And then he tells Emmett that Gemma left him for Jake. And he was like, damn. And then he was like, and then I got suspended from school indefinitely. He was like, damn, that indefinitely right there. So Emmett trying to give him like a little, well, life gives us lemons and then you make lemonade type thing. And he was like, well, what do my best friend sleeping with my girlfriend got to do with me learning a lesson or whatever? He was like, well, it's telling you to keep your head on a swivel, you know? And so you never go through that again. I said, Lord, Emmett. And so then we see Jake. He about to get busy with Gemma. Trig walks in the room. And then Imani ends up like, come on, Gemma, let's come downstairs and talk while they two talk or whatever. We see Dre. She in the back, I guess, counseling the people that we saw in episode 4, I want to say. When they was arguing and Big Boy had to pull the gun out on the guy because the guy didn't want to leave, and the girl was arguing about her OnlyFans and stuff. We see them, they in the counseling session, and they just still arguing, child. It seemed like it was going to be wrapped up real clean and nice, but no, child, because they went back into arguing. The teenage girl that was there with them, his sister, she ended up walking out and then bumping into Kevin. So Kevin was like, oh, my bad. She was like, yeah, next, watch yourself or something like that. So she's real cute. So here go Emmett. Well, you know, they say the best thing to get over somebody is to get under somebody or on somebody or whatever, which I hate that saying. But at any rate, Kevin like, oh, you right. I said, Lord. Trig goes to talk to Jake. So he's in, I guess Trig took him into his room or whatever like that, and they sitting there talking. So he like, we need to have a conversation. So Jake was like, what we need to have the sex talk for? I've been fucking. He was like, see, that's your problem. You've been doing this, and you think it's just all fucking. It's not about fucking. It's about something deeper. And so he's telling him like, you know, don't be playing with the girl's heart. You gotta care about her. You know, you care about this girl. He was like, yeah, I mean, she different. He was like, well, you gotta treat her special. Like, you just can't be just fucking. Just like, you gotta be on some deeper connection type shit. So he was like, oh, okay, man, this is difficult. He was like, yeah, it is, man. This ain't no game. This ain't no play. And so he basically told him like, you know, watch, you know, be careful with her heart and be careful with your own heart, stuff like that. And then we see Papa and Maisha. So they sitting down somewhere. Was they in his? Yeah, it was in his house or whatever. So they eating lunch, dinner, whatever, child. And then she asked him why he plugged his podcast during her interview. And he was just saying like, you know, he wanted to get some shine or something like that. And she was like, well, I wanted to get some shine on my own social media or whatever like that. And that wasn't the place or the time or whatever. So then he was like, well, something about being in each other's shadow and stuff like that. And the conversation ended real like ugly. Like it was just like real quiet. And I was just like, this is not going well at all for these two. We see Jada and Dre. So child. So we see Jada, she's sitting on somebody's stoop. So Dre is out there with her, and Dre telling her, like, you know, you got this or whatever, be strong and stuff. You a strong woman. I know you can fight this. And so Jada basically like, why do I got to keep being strong? I'm tired of being strong for everybody. I'm strong for you. I'm strong for my son. Like, I just want to be, like, I'm so tired of being strong. So then she start crying, child. Crying. So, of course, Dre consoles her. Nina is texting or calling Dre. Dre just sends her straight to voicemail, child. I said, Lord, why you ain't pick up the phone? So we see Nina, like, she wasn't that far. Like, this Dre and Jada, this Nina in the car. Okay, so she not even that far. She's sitting in the car watching them. So she can see them from the stoop, from her car on the stoop or whatever like that. She texts Dre, or no, Dre texts her and was like, I'm in a meeting. I'll hit you back soon or something like that. I said, and you still lying? Like, why you just can't say I'm with Jada? Like, if she your friend and she just your friend, why you can't say you with Jada? Like, did her and Jada have some kind of relationship at one point? Like, maybe I'm missing something, because I don't understand why you just can't say you with your best friend Jada, because she your best friend. Like, why you can't say I'm with my best friend Jada? Oh, okay, I'll hit you up later. Is everything okay? Like, y'all need something, something like that. But you can't just say you with your friend. Why you got to lie about it? Like, I don't like that shady shit. So Nina's sitting in her car looking like, oh, you in a meeting. Oh, okay, bitch. So we see Gemma. She said what Imani telling Imani she real embarrassed and yada, yada, yada. Gemma's daddy comes and he picks up Gemma, and he real shady talking about something. Oh, this house got real character. It's got 4 walls. Like, he's just being shady as shit. Trig is like, well, Jake and Gemma, they getting along real well. I think she's a good influence on him or whatever like that. And Gemma's dad's like, yep, I think so or whatever. So then he scoops up his child and they go. And then before they went, when Imani came out there and stood next to Trig, Gemma's daddy was looking at them two kind of weird. Like, I said, why are you looking at Imani like that? There's something go on. Like, something is there. We see Keisha, she out on a date. Child, this warmed my heart. He talking about how he learned how to cook and he was stacking his paper, when his teammates was just blowing it on fast food and yada, yada, yada. And she was telling him how, she was running track and her life was running track. And once her life got flipped upside down, she didn't know what to do. And he was saying like, well, how did you get through it? And she was like, well, I still think I am getting through it or whatever. So he was like, well, because I think she said she was scared or something. He was like, well, you don't have to be scared. You don't always have to be scared. So then he reaches out to touch her hand and she flinches and jumps back or whatever. And she had like a little mild panic attack. So he was just like, just breathe. Just count to 3, take 3 deep breaths and breathe. So then she was just like breathing in deep and it calmed her down. And she was like, thank you. I was like, oh, he is good for her. He is good for her because he is calming her down. He didn't like get scared and be like, well, what the fuck wrong with her? Like, he didn't do all of that. He was just like, just take 3 deep breaths. And he helped her calm down. He was counting while she was breathing and stuff. I was like, so she thanks him. And then he says he knows like a real cute cupcake place down the way. And then they started talking about that. I was like, oh, my heart. So anyway, we see Tracy. She finally go meet Duda and stuff like that. He's talking about, oh, I look a mess. I ain't even dye my beard or brush my beard and stuff like that. And so she hands him some papers and stuff. And then she was like, do you believe in any of this or you just want to fuck me? And so he was like real quiet. So she was like, yeah, that's what I thought. And so she walks out. I said, Lord, Duda looked like, damn, like I done fucked up with her too. So then we see Tiffany. She comes into the restaurant to apologize to Dom. And Dom is saying like, look, I just want us to get what we worth and stuff. And then some dude walked in. It looked like it was that Tiana Taylor husband? What's his name? Is it Iman? No, that's the baby name. what's his name? Y'all obviously know who I'm talking about. I think that was him, but I can't be 100% sure. But he walks in and he says that he's trying to add edibles to his inventory and stuff like that, and he wants, to get in business with them. And so, of course, Dom is like, what you offering and stuff like that. Of course, Tiffany, like, that sounds good to me. She like, girl, everything sounds good to you. So he basically said they're going to get 10% of something off the sharings, and money going to stay in-house, basically. So they're going to broaden their buyers. She going to get an office out of it and all this other stuff. So Dom was like, oh, okay, we might have a deal. We see Nina, child. She out at a bar. Dre texts her, so it must be the next day or something. Dre texts her saying it's going to be another late night. Out of all the gay people, all the lesbians in Chicago, all the lesbians in the world, they had to hire the brat. I said, now all these lesbians that want to be actresses and actors, like all these, like the only actress you can find was the brat. That just irritated me. It just irritated me because I'm like, they could have put anybody on, but they had the brat do this scene, like, the fuck. So at any rate, and I think she might have been at a gay bar. So the brat sitting on one end, she sees Nina drinking. The brat comes over there and talks to her and was like, oh, what you drinking? She like Henny. She was like, oh, I like a woman who know her drink. I like you already, or some shit like that. And she was like, well, is you alone? And Nina was like, yeah. So she was like, well, do you want to be that way or something? And she was like, so what you trying to say? You gonna keep me company? And so next thing we see them bow chicky wow wow up in the goddamn hotel room, child. I said, Nina, no. You can't cheat and you don't even got the story. Now you the cheater because Dre wasn't even cheating. I said, oh my God. We see the brat putting her child. She was handling her business, okay? That's all we gonna say. She was handling her business, okay? But that could have been any other actress in the world. It had to be the brat. I said, since she done came out, now we gonna... Child, all these other actresses that would have been happy to get that check that the brat had got for starring on there and eating damn Nina's box would have been happy. But y'all gonna get the... Get the fuck out of here. That just made me upset. Because they could have put anybody else on. The brat already on. Shit, like, come on now. Anyway, child. After the brat finished tearing Nina pussy up, Nina go back home, child. She drunk. She sexed up. She come in talking about, hey, babe. I said, not hey, babe. After you done just got fucked, girl, no. So, Dre like, babe, you can't just keep checking out like that. Because Nina was like, look, I need to get in the shower. So she was like, you can't keep checking out like that. Like, everything is falling apart here. Like, we got a lot of shit going on. I need you or whatever. She was like, you need me. Do you really need me? She was like, what you talking about, babe? She was like, I saw you and Jada. She was like, you saw me and Jada. What, you following me? She was like, look, just tell me the truth. You was with her, wasn't you? She was like, babe, Jada got cancer, and she started breaking down crying. Nina like, oh shit. So she go over there and comfort her. I say, Nina, you fucked up. We see at church this baby getting baptized. Keisha in the audience, and turns out it was one of Keisha's friends, her baby, and the baby's dad is up there. The girl, she engaged to him and stuff like that. So I'm like, Keisha gonna call this lady back and ask for her damn baby child. Papa runs into Keisha and then tells her that, he jealous of Maisha, and is that normal? She was like, yeah, that's normal, but it's just some shit you got to work out. So he was like, oh, okay, well, thank you, Keisha, and it's going to be all right. Keep your head up. So then they do that. We see at Jada, Sway comes in with some groceries. Jada ends up telling Sway that she loves him. They start tonguing each other down. We see Octavia. She came over to get the breast milk and stuff. And then she ends up asking Keisha, do she want to hold the baby? And so Keisha holds the baby child, and then Keisha starts crying. I said, Lord have mercy. Octavia ain't come up with a name for the baby yet. She was saying like she hopes the name just comes to her and stuff. I said, Lord, this is not going to end the way Octavia wants it to end. Then we see Trig and Imani. They go picking up Duda from the hospital. Trig like, why the hell Rose ain't come pick you up? He was like, well, I can't trust nobody or whatever like that. So Imani was like, well, trust don't come free. Like, I need something in return. So I said, Lord, she about to get that trap house shut down. Then we see Maisha and Papa. They have a little talk or whatever. And basically, the whole gist was Papa was apologizing to Maisha for stepping on her toes and stuff like that. And he was saying, like, they can't work together, you know, business and pleasure don't mix well or whatever, and that he gonna step back and do his own thing. So she was like, I think that's a good idea. He was like, that's it? Like, you just think that's a good idea? She was like, yeah, and I also think that we need some space. So he was like, well, I don't think we need no space. She was like, but I do. And then she walked out. I said, damn, I knew that shit was coming. So we see Kev and Keisha, they talking, you know, brother, sibling, stuff like that. He talking about the date she went on, the teachers and stuff, and he said he gonna get his shit together. And then he brought the baby some little running shoes. I said, Lord. Then we see Tiffany and Emmett, and he thanks her for being patient, being his boo thing or whatever. And he tells her that he's scared that he gonna lose his mama and stuff. And they kiss, and they say they're gonna be together forever. We see Keisha, she calls her friend up, the guy that she works with and stuff, and tells him about her day and how she held her baby. And she said, he was like, well, how did that feel? And she was like, it felt beautiful. I said, Lord, she calling Octavia next. At the school, Kevin apologizes to the principal. He like, I'll apologize to the teacher, the students. I'll clean the labs. I'll clean the floor. I'll clean the toilets with a toothbrush. I'll do whatever. The principal's like, okay, thank you for the apology. That's all fine and dandy. However, we have a 0 policy, so you're still expelled. So clean out your locker, get your shit, and go. I said, damn, somehow Kevin gonna have a negative, he's not representing a positive, not a positive scene. He's not building a positive reputation for the school or whatever, because wherever he goes, he carries the school with him or whatever like that. I said, Then we saw Jada. She was taking out her braids, and while she was taking out her braids, her hair was coming along with it. And then we see Nina. She's sleeping and sitting in Regret Girl drinking a glass of wine. It looked like it was the daytime or whatever like that. Keisha walked downstairs, and she goes sit with her, or stand up there. She was like, Mom. And she was like, yes. And she was like, I want my baby back. I said, I knew that shit was coming. And that's how it ended, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all felt about the episode down there in them comments. Child, do y'all think that Mad Rose set Duda up? Because I feel like she set him up. And why you think Jim and Daddy was looking at Imani like that? And child, did y'all see Maisha? Did y'all think Maisha was going to break up with Papa? Because I saw that coming too. And I knew Keisha was going to ask for that baby back. I knew it. Poor Octavia. She can't catch a break. Anyway, y'all let me know, like I said, down there in them comments. If you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. And hit me up with that thumbs up and the share button as well. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.